All right, guys. What is going on, man? What is going on? What was that alert, John? What was that alert, John? We all heard it. I don't know. I don't know. Could it be yes? I don't know. Couldn't be me. It's beyond my understanding. it's beyond my understanding, chat. Let me tell you, man. I don't know. We'll find somebody who knows something. We'll get them on the stream. Yeah, it couldn't have been me at 9:30. Definitely was not me at 9:30 pointing out the lows down here. Now, I did say I would prefer if we traded higher first, but there was something that I missed, and I'll explain that. And there's a reason that I went over with Dow. There's a reason for that. So we'll talk about it, right? We'll do some I told you so. That's, you can almost bank on that. It's a high probability setup right there. So yeah, Julius, totally random and unpredictable timing. How lucky do we keep getting? Lucky, 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 lucky. Over and over and over and over again. You know, it's like a Disney movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have more luck than a Disney movie. Think about that. Either we're the most luckiest traders ever to exist, or the markets can be timed and predicted. What do you think is more easily believable? What do you think is more believable? Consistent luck every week for years, or that the stuff is highly controlled? One of y'all has got to be a genius. It ain't me, right? It can't be me. Anyway, sorry, I'm having a lot of fun today. I woke up early. I need another energy drink. But for now, what's good? G, Scott, MJ, Jork, Slowly, Akil, Tordy, Roberto, Capitalist, 2020, Felix, Nicholas. Who else is here? 26 people. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, you would think, oh man, let me get my mouse back. You would think, like, teaching banger shit would would hopefully get more people on, but I guess not. We're up to 30 now. Hey, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so let's start with today. Let me ask you guys this. I'm gonna start a poll. And it's gonna be a shorter stream today, by the way. I'm gonna cut it short today. I have to be somewhere, and it is raining, so I'm not gonna be able to book it. Not that I've ever, speeded before. I can't even spell it. It's Sudoku. Have you guys ever played Sudoku before? Was good, Big James. Big James in the chat. Have you guys ever played Sudoku before? I did not complete my first Sudoku puzzle I think you can call it a puzzle. I did not complete my first Sudoku puzzle until a few days ago, actually. I bought a book, one of those books off of Amazon that you can play Sudoku. There's like crossword and word searches. Word search is kind of lame because there's no challenge there. And I guess unless you do it fast, maybe. But it's easy. Sudoku, I was like, I never understood it. And I didn't realize how easy it was. Like I really did not understand how easy it was until very recently. Can y'all see this? Okay. So I have only completed a few puzzles. And I only know a couple rules. There's some really advanced stuff that I don't know. But if you've never played Sudoku before, if you don't know how to play Sudoku, these are the 3 rules that I know. Number 1, this is a random puzzle that was created a couple minutes ago before I started the stream. There are 9 squares, right? The first 9, the second 9, the third 9, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9. So there are 9 squares. Each square has the numbers 1 through 9. 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 9, so on and so forth. But also every column and every row also has a 1 through 9. So like this top row up here currently has a 5, 8, 7, and 9. So that means there's going to be a 1 somewhere, a 2 somewhere, a 3 somewhere, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way around. It's like that for the row as well as for the column. Okay. Now, why am I telling you about this? Because have you ever heard of deduction? Like by reasoning of deduction? What's good, H? Deduction is basically it can't be this, so it has to be that. It gets much more complicated than that. But in a simple sense, it's basically if not this, then that. So I'll try to give you an example. If you look down here at the bottom, I think this is the eighth square. We have a 1, 6, 7, 4, and 9. Right? But by method of deduction, we can figure out what this one is right here. But we have to reference other things. So let me tell you. There's an 8 here, and there's an 8 here. Okay? Which means this entire row, or column, sorry, this upward column here needs an 8. And it can either go here, here, or here. But since there's an 8 in this square, and there's an 8 in this middle square, this is the square that needs the 8. But it can't go in this column, and it can't go in this column. Now this column already has a 9 and a 4, which means there's only one other place that 8 can go, which is right there. See that? I think it might have solved like more than it was supposed to. But we can do another one. There's a 1 here and a 1 here, which means for this upper box, a 1 can't go in those 2 squares or these 2, which means it has to go there. So that one, I believe, is a 1. And then the other ones come up for some reason. But anyway, do you guys get what I'm saying by deduction? If it's not this, it's that. If it's not over here, it's over there. So that's a very simple idea. And again, I'm not an expert in Sudoku. I've only played, like, I think I've completed 4 or 5 games. And I think one of them was actually wrong. I looked in the back of the book. One of them was slightly wrong. So definitely not an expert. But what we can do in trading, or at least in analysis, is we can do some reasoning of deduction. Drop the letter D in the chat if you guys understand what I'm telling you. If you don't understand, don't drop a D. But I want to see if you guys actually understand what that means. If it's not this, it's going to be that. If it's not that, it's this. If it's not low probability, or sorry, I said that backwards. If it's not high probability, it's lower probability. There are high probability conditions. There are low probability conditions. There are reversal setups. There are continuation setups. So this may not be the best explanation that there is in the world, but I say all that to come over into Dow and to tell you, what did we talk about yesterday? We talked briefly on feedback loops, and I told you that you might be a reversal trader. That might be your thing. You might like reversals, or you might suck at reversals. You might just say, oh, this is stupid, I hate it. And you might be a continuation trader. You might have a much better win rate trading continuations than you do trading reversals, right? So if you think about the stages of a market maker buy model or a sell model. Now, in this case, it really wasn't it's kind of a sell model. It's really more of an AMD, but you know, one step at a time here. One step at a time here. So if we were to look at a framework like this, a market maker sell model, you can notice up here, right? When we have our reaccumulation higher, we get manipulation, and then we trade lower. So that is what? The A-shaped reversal. You can actually quite literally see the letter A here, because that is it. And then that box right here crossing it, that's an A. You probably never saw that. I never really saw it either until just now. But that's pretty cool, right? You can actually see the letter A right here. With that and that, that's an A. That's an A-shaped reversal, right? If this was our A-shaped reversal and we've traded lower, are we going to get a V-shaped reversal to go higher? That doesn't make sense. Why would we get an A-shaped reversal? Like, we're going to go for some lows and then get a V-shaped reversal. That doesn't happen. I guess it may happen once in a while if you get something wrong, I guess. But if it is a sell model, if it is the right time, price, and context, then it's not going to do that. So by the method of deduction, it's not going to be a V-shaped reversal. So we already had the A-shaped reversal, right? It's not going to be a V-shaped reversal for longs, which means what? We're either going to experience a retracement and then expansion, a continuation, or we're just going to get a continuation. So that's the only other option. The only two other options is retracement, then the continuation, or depending on when you're looking at it, if we already have the retracement, after an A-shaped retracement, look at me. After an A-shaped reversal, okay, then our retracement, the only other thing it can be is a continuation. Okay? Drop a 1 in the chat if you guys are understanding. I briefly went over Sudoku just to show you that there's some rules that you can follow. We've got a column here and a column here. There's 8s over here. That means the 8 can only go in this column. And since these two numbers exist, the only other place the 8 can go is right there. And then we have 1s. Well, we have a 1 over here and a 1 over here. So it goes in this column. Bang. That's where the 1 is. when we find those other numbers, that's how we figure out the rest of the numbers. That's how you complete the puzzle. An easy puzzle, at least. The harder puzzles, there's more steps to it, and I don't even know how to do that. I've seen Sudoku puzzles that gave me a headache as soon as I looked at it. But the point is not Sudoku, but the point is deduction. If it ain't this, and if it ain't that, then this is all that's left. So that is your high probability. Okay? So it was Mason. I don't know if Mason's in the chat today. But it was Mason who pointed out the lows on Dow. I really don't look at Dow until you guys bring it up. But it's in our Discord somewhere. I don't know what time he had mentioned it. I think it was up in here. But by method of deduction, what can we anticipate? Well, we have a long drawn out consolidation. We love that. Trading inside of that blows. Okay, most people get chopped up in that, and then they say trading is a scam, and then, you know, that's it. But it's a skill issue, honestly. And it just takes 2 seconds on Twitter to see that. But anyway, consolidation, long drawn out consolidation. We love that. We know there's orders building on both sides. So there's going to be buy stops at that high and above it. There's going to be sell stops down here. So when one side, I don't know what 455 was this morning, but for whatever reason, and 55 is an interesting time as well, but nonetheless, what has price done? It traded higher. Okay, so all of those buy stops are in. Anybody who's buying above previous highs, they're in. So that means they're long. We get a little bit of a retracement here. Here's equities open. So we trade below equities open right there. Short-term low taken, and then we rallied up. And now we're above this high right here. So now that we're above that high, and if you already saw my Instagram reel, okay, you already saw me label that as manipulation. On top of that, that is going to act like a soup as well. Can everybody see this? Friday the 17th high, right? Yesterday was 420. Today's 421, National Random Drug Test Day. Fun fact for you. So even though we have multiple highs here, it's this high that is going to act like turtle soup because that is the right time. That is the proper time. Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm glad one person thinks so. So that's going to act like turtle soup, right? If we are going to go lower, we're going to go higher first. So equities open, we trade lower, small pool of liquidity taken, rallies up. Now we have more buy stops coming in. Oh yeah, we're going to trade the orb. We're going to trade the opening range breakout. Oh yeah, you buy that breakout. Please do it. Buy the breakout. Everybody loves the orb, right? Opening range breakout. Supply and demand love that shit. Please do it. Go ahead, buy above old highs when there's resting consolidation and resting lows. Do it. Okay? Somebody's got to pay the price. Don't let it be you. So buy stops are in. Okay? Short term, buyers get knocked out. But there are buyers up here. We do not buy above all highs. Well, we don't try to, at least. We don't want to buy above all highs. So that expansion higher, okay, met with expansion lower. I know the it's kind of over. I was on a smaller time frame trying to smush that together for you. But look, that movement here to go higher, okay? Even if these candles are lower than this one, I can't tell because they all look the same, almost like my exes. I gotta stop doing that. these two down candles to go higher, that would then be the short-term mitigation setup. So then these two down candles get traded through right here at 9:30. You see that? Body here, traded through here. So then 9:35, we get just a continuation lower, no problem. And then at 9:40, we trade up and into those down candles here. I was doing some investigation, right? We talked about this yesterday. Drop a 2 if you remember yesterday. We were on a 5-minute time frame, propulsion model. And then I told you, because we had the up candles, then we had the up candles from that. And then that second set of up candles on the 5-minute, we dropped down to the 1-minute time frame and then said, oh, well, look at that. There's a little 2 imbalances right inside that 5-minute. So we can fine tune that entry a little bit. Y'all remember that? Drop a 2. I might get my days mixed up. You know, I don't have the best memory, chat. I try to, but I'm not always perfect. Oof. Man, if y'all ever get a chance to grab Icelandic, do it. So good. So it's just refinement. 5-minute mitigation here. There is an imbalance here, but there's a gap right there. So we include that gap. And then look at that. See? More supply and demand concepts for you right here. Bang. Hits the 50% of that. You see that? Imbalance here. But we use the gap included in that. And YM M2026 just so happens to hit 50% perfectly. But there's no perfection in trading, they say. I guess not. So we'll just breeze past that because it doesn't exist, right? So we trade lower, and then right here, bang, 950. Here's some more shit that doesn't exist. 950 to 1010. That's our 10 a.m. macro, right? When do we get our move? Whoop, lower inside that time window. So I know I might get a little bit ahead of myself, but the point I'm trying to make here is we've already got manipulation. We already got our A-shaped reversal. This side of the A is kind of, it ain't as fast, but that's okay because we still have manipulation. Even these short-term highs all got cleared out. And that high, low, higher high that cleared all that out, that right there is your mitigation. So we get a retracement into that. So we already got manipulation. We already got the low risk short. And then this was our first leg here. And then that mitigation lower is our second leg. Because I know a lot of people, right off the top of your head, you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't trade that. You're shorting this after this move lower. Yeah. That's free money. What are you talking about? That's a high probability trade right there. Right at 950. Concept, who needs that? You can trade without a concept? Yeah. Did you forget what my name was? No, I'm playing with you. I'll play with you. That's egotistical. But I taught you a long time ago. You can trade without concepts. You can trade time-based entries, and you can take fib-based entries. The lazy traders model. That's not tailored to a concept. That actually goes outside the scope of time and price. So, anyway, yep, 950. Go look at the video. Go look at the video. Because I know that's probably what some people think. What is he shorting? What is he shorting right there? It doesn't trade higher into anything. He just shorts it. And then, yeah, it just shits the bed. Yeah. Because that is a time-based entry. And I told you, and I keep telling you, all the time, price is coded to do this. It is scripted. 950 to 1010, it's going to run on a script because it is coded matrix zeros and ones type shit to go where? Up to this high, up back to that mitigation, up to that back up and into that imbalance? No, it's already done all that. So if it's not going to go to the mitigation, if it's not going to go to that high, if it's not going to go to this imbalance, what is it going to go for? Those lows. So guess what? You short it. Easy scalp. That's how easy that was. Okay? So if you're not in for the manipulation, if you're not in... I don't think we have an inversion up here. This is why Dow sucks. You always have weird shit going on. No pants on any of these candles. Just... Dow's not always the easiest to read. But when you have a clear mitigation, my mitigation model's here too, by the way, because of that imbalance. But when you have that imbalance on the 1 minute, that mitigation on the 5, and then you run up on a time window, yeah, that time window is going to send price lower. Majority of the time, it's going to do that. When we have context, we can take a time-based entry, yeah. Yes, sir. If you're not in from up here, or the low risk short, or the add-on at the first stage accumulation, or first stage distribution, excuse me, you can trade the second stage of distribution either as an add-on or as a full trade. Yeah. A lot of mentors won't teach you that, though, because this is outside the scope of supply and demand. This is absolutely not supply and demand. It is outside the scope of any of that shit, because they never taught me this. Never. I never learned this from any supply and demand school ever. None whatsoever. This right here from 950, and it drops like a rock, that is algorithmic. It's going to reprice to where there is resting liquidity. So guess what? Why would you not want to be part of that move? Why? Why would you not be a part of that? That is the closest thing to free money that there is. Do you remember yesterday? I know I've asked you that like several times already, but probabilities. That's why I covered that yesterday. And I'm going to cover one more thing that I talked about yesterday too, and it's going to blow your mind. I told you, if you can't be a reversal trader because you usually get stopped out at the high before going lower, and that frustrates you, then take a break from being a reversal trader. And you can trade continuations. Continuations are so easy. Reversals, I would say, probably are a little bit more difficult. But continuations are so easy. Go look at eBay. Go look at the indices from the market review on the 4th when I told you expansion, and then we got fucking record-breaking moves, right? Insane. No one can ever time the market. Now that was a reversal, but after reversals, we get continuations. It can't not be that way. The only other way, if you were to get it wrong, is if there was something on a higher time frame that you missed that would constitute a short-term manipulation for a continuation higher. That you would interpret incorrectly. But we have the higher time frame in mind already, because we've been rallying and rallying and rallying and rallying and rallying. And now I believe this is all-time highs for Dow, or close to it. It might not be. Okay, I lied. It can't even get past this. But nonetheless, that's also last week's high. Remember, Tuesday can sometimes set the high or low of the week. Yeah, you didn't write it down so you don't fucking remember. Right there. Okay. So the daily, we might be above last week's high, but we're not anywhere near like a long-term high or all-time highs. So that's still going to count as manipulation. So once we get that, probabilities are now lower. Did you not see the GIF I put in there when I said all in? I was telling you to take out all your credit cards, okay? Max leverage, full port, sell the cat. You can buy Fluffy back later. Sell everything. Sell your clothes even. Just make sure you cover the camera on all your webcams, okay? And short that bitch, because we're about to go lower, and then you can buy everything back. So obviously it's a joke. Never do that. Okay, never full port. Yeah, see, somebody remembers Dennis. Whatever happened to Dennis? Somebody needs to find him. Maybe his wife found out. that, I don't know, that he did full port on the wrong setup and got, I don't know. Somebody find Dennis, please. We need to know. We need closure, chat. The SMS community, we need closure. We need to find out what happened to Dennis. All right. Let me teach you one more thing. You remember this earlier in here at the beginning of the stream? You heard that, da-na-na, right? Oh, what could that possibly be? Well, what do you remember from yesterday? Specifically on, I don't know if y'all can see this or not. No, you can't. There's a button down here. And drag it up a little bit right here. See that? This button down here. There's electronic hours. You click that, boom. You go over to regular, right? What did I teach you yesterday as it relates to regular trading hours and electronic trading hours? Again, you're not going to find this in S&D school. It's not there. Oh, just had a call with him today? Don't be lying to me, G. Don't be lying to me. This right here, we're in regular trading hours, RTH. This is 10 o'clock yesterday, right? 10:05 is making the low of the day. Random and unpredictable. That was the low. What is that? 71.21 and a half. Right? So that is right there. Previous day's low. AM session low. Cool. I told you to go look at regular trading hours and electronic, right? Let's go investigate. What do we got over here? Well, that one was the one we just looked at. We'll make that one different. We'll make it whatever color that is. I'm not really sure. It looks blue. That is regular trading hours low. And then this right here is electronic because this is all pre-market. So not only do you have one pool, you got the regular trading hours pool here. And then you have an electronic pool right there. And look at how close those price levels are. Look at that. 71.21 even, 71.21 and a half. That's 2 ticks on the S&P. That is almost as close as it gets besides equal lows. So you have a 1 minute equal lows here, electronic lows here, and then with regular session and that session, you have multiple pools of liquidity. Where did we run to today? Okay. Look at these down candles. Are those casual? Huh? Are those like, what is it, jeans on a Friday casual, bro? Or are those mega monster, dirty, down south candles? Corvette candles, if you will. At what time? Again, a time that people just says is fucking bullshit. Okay. 950 right there. Where can we not get past? We really can't get beyond the MOP, the macro opening price. There's 1010. Look at that. Look at that. That right there. Sorry, our macro is here. Our macro opening price down to both pools of liquidity right there is 30 points. 30 points in 15 fucking minutes. What is the math on that? If ES is $50 a point and there's 30 points, what's the math on that? It's like $1,500 in 15 minutes. Is it 750? Shit, it might be too early for me, dude. You might be right. No, it's 1,500. It's 1,500, you goober. $1,500 a contract in 15 minutes. But this stuff doesn't work, right? This stuff doesn't work. A little bit after the macro, we got another little scoop. Another little scoop here. Then at 12:06, again, another strange and obscure time window. 11:50, bang. Right down to the lower set. I don't know if I showed you that yet. But there was those two sets we just talked about. Again, the biggest point here, do not forget this. Electronic hours and regular trading hours. When there is a pool on both that are close together, that's where price is going. Period, point blank. It may not be that day or the time that you're looking at it, because you got to wait for other stuff. Either manipulation or like a divergence between something. Like Dow going higher and ES not doing it. So it was ES that had the weakness. And that's what I missed earlier in the Discord. When I said, oh, well, we've got lows here, but we don't have manipulation yet. You know, again, I don't always interpret everything correctly. I might miss something. So, and then Mason came in and said, oh, well, look at these lows on Dow. It's like, oh, shit. Well, yeah, they're there. And then everything I just told you, we got the A-shaped reversal. We got everything else. Now we're going to have our continuation. Okay. Put the farm on it. Bang. Simple. It's simple. But anyway, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. I pointed out both 71.21 right there, and then the next one at 71.09.5. Those are the only two. Well, there's a set right here, but that was already swept. So that this to me no longer is, there's nothing relevant about that to me. So I said, yeah, we might have these two lows. But see that high right here? See that? That wasn't met here. And so that was the weakness. And then this becomes a retracement to short. Obviously, in hindsight, because that I didn't say to short at that point. But that was right here. That was about right here. See that? So that macro took us lower, and then the next macro took us lower. So both macros met two different pools of liquidity, and you're telling me this shit is not fucking controlled, that it's not ran by an algorithm, it's all just buying and selling pressure? That is stupid. Okay? That is absolutely retarded. It keeps meeting pools of liquidity in certain time windows. Certain retracements are deep, other retracements are not. Okay? Like Dow, that mitigation, that was rather immediate. That did not give a lot of time. That did not trade outside of it, you know, a lot and then come all the way back up here and then go. Nope. It traded outside of it. Next candle immediately into it. Right? You might not be able to see that. Okay? Right here. And then immediately into it, body closes off it. That's a very weak market. Weak markets do not give deep retracements. That's barely a retracement. That's barely a retracement. And then are ascending lower. We got almost no retracements in here. That is a heavy market. Almost as heavy as your mom. That is something that is shortable. Period. Multiple pools of liquidity on ES. Multiple downside objectives on ES. Felix. All right. Comedy Club. SMS. That was the manipulation that we needed. ES did not trade higher. So that was the weakness. So for me, journaling today, I haven't journaled today, and I'm going to close the stream with this because I do have to go. What I would journal today is you had multiple downside targets. You told everybody there are multiple downside targets, but you missed the short. And you missed it because I was half asleep. So that is part of it. But I'm trying to force myself to wake up on time. Okay? So progress, not perfection. I would have to write, hey, look, when you saw ES, you should have looked at NQ, and it was pretty much doing the same thing. That run here was above regular trading hours high yesterday. That to me wasn't really manipulation. I thought we were going to maybe do that like a turtle soup. Like I thought here we would do what Dow was doing like that. I thought we were going to do that on NQ to grab the electronic side here, that high, and yesterday's high, and then roll over. But I didn't look at all of them. And I missed that Dow was up here until Mason said something. So that was something that I missed. So I had to journal that. You know, you had the lows, you told everybody about it, but this is what you missed. But hey, you know what? At least you went into Dow, you know, and still got something on the day instead of just missing it and saying, oh, fuck it, I'm done, and then not doing anything. So didn't even try to sneak that one. Sometimes I'm sneaky, sometimes I'm not. So anyway, that's it, man. That's it. Again, like these time windows and what I taught you yesterday as well as today about having multiple pools of liquidity at the same, like in close proximity. Okay. Electronic has those two. When we go to regular, we don't have the two. We just have the one. So regular has a pool. Electronic has a pool. And they are close proximity. There's a massive amount of liquidity resting right there. Okay? You don't need a fucking volume tool to tell you that that's where the fucking volume is at. Period. Okay? All due respect. You don't need it. You don't need it. Book maps. You don't need it. You know where it is. You can see it in the chart. Period. Okay? Again, all due respect. There's a lot of traders out there that I respect. Okay? But you don't need it. Okay? You don't need to look at other tools when it's right there visually. Take a look. Okay? Take a look. And then this whole thing here would act like a market maker buy model. Original consolidation. Leave it, back into it, leave it again. Bullish until manipulation. We don't get manipulation though. Instead, we get a divergence here. So that divergence ends up being the short term, the low risk short. So this would act like the manipulation. This being the low risk short and then getting in sync with the, I'd say the first and the second leg of distribution. So it's not picture perfect. I told you that that's not how it works. The map is not the territory. It will not always be as visually crispy as something like this. Okay, it's not going to be exactly 100%. The puzzle pieces won't match the picture every single time. Okay, and that is what you see here. So we had a sell model on ES, and this is more of an AMD model. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And look what we're shorting. We're shorting inside distribution. You remember AMD? Didn't I teach you that in episode 2 or 3? AMD, baby. AMD. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So it's 12:50. All right, now I do have to go. All right, so y'all be good, be blessed. All right, make sure to journal, make sure to print off the charts. Don't ignore what you missed. Okay, if you missed something, if you didn't miss anything, great. If you took good trades, wonderful. But you got to journal that too. You got to journal that too. And I am polishing up the presentation that I have for you on feedback loops. I'm still adding a little bit more information. I want to make sure that it's solid before I give it to you. If I don't give it to you tomorrow, where's my calendar? There it is. If we don't do it on Wednesday, then I'll push that to the 27th. So it feels like we'll play it by ear. We'll see if I can get it done today. If not, I might save that for the 27th. So we'll see how it goes. But with that, I hope you learned something. Drop a like on your way out. We got 46 people, 16 likes. Let's see if we can bump the likes up a little bit. I do this totally for free for you guys, you know, because I want people to learn. I want people to have the right information. And there's a lot of fucked up shit out there. There's a lot of bad stuff out there. And I'm really doing my best to correct a lot of that stuff. Okay. I teach you how the market works, why it works, when it won't work. Today, I also taught you a method of deduction. If it ain't this, it's that. If we already have the A-shaped reversal, we ain't getting a V-shaped reversal on the way to equal lows. So that's why I gave you that formula too. A-shaped reversal or V-shaped reversal. Retracement, expansion, every time. Reversal, retracement, expansion, every time. So if it's not one thing, it's another. All right. But now I really got to go. Y'all be good, be blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow.